Alright, so today we're going to do Module 2, Step 1, and this is basically about functions. We kind of learned last week that the function passes the vertical line test. Okay, most of these functions that you're going to see are just lines, and so they definitely pass the vertical line test because a line, it doesn't have any curves to it that would maybe cause, a vertical line to go through it twice. So, but anyway, a function, if you put in a specific input, you're going to get only one output, right? So that's kind of what these are. It says the function for the cost of the Verizon wireless plan for Delta is f of x equals 80x. Okay? F of x is the total amount Delta has paid for using Verizon Wireless for X amount of months. So again, you're going to plug in X as your input. Okay, X is the amount of months, and when you multiply it by 80, you'll get a value, a total amount that he's paid using wireless. So it says here, calculate f of 2. What that means is, if you look up here, f of x is equal to 80x. So now it looks like they've replaced the x with a 2. So really, that's all you're going to do. You're going to replace the x in the equation with the 2. So f of 2 just means take this function, 80x, and put a 2 in place of the x. So you're going to do 80 times 2, because that's what x equals. All right? And you get 160. So he's paid $160. That's what this means. Write a sentence explaining what f of 2 means in terms of Delta in his phone. So you can say he has paid $160 in 2 months. And there's your sentence. Okay? And then it says calculate f of 0. Well, 0 months would mean that he hasn't even started this plan really. Maybe he just signed up for it. So, but again, if they're saying x, where x is, they're saying that x is equal to 0. So what you're going to do is you're going to plug in a 0 into the equation. So f of 0 means, again, 80 times 0. And 80 times 0 is 0. So write a sentence explaining what that means in terms of him and his phone. Well, I would say, he has paid $0 in 0 months. You could also say he just started the plan. That's kind of what I would say too. He just started the plan, so he hasn't really paid anything. So now we're going to do the next part. Don Shea is saving up for a car. The function below describes how much money he still needs to earn after working X amount of months. So this is interesting. So if this is how much money he has to earn, then apparently this is maybe the cost of the car, $27,000, and this minus 2,000 means, I guess, each month he must be earning $2,000. So as X goes up, as he works more, he'll have to save less because he would have saved, $2,000 every month. So we'll see what this means. So let's look here. So calculate C of 12, meaning, again, X equals 12 then. So instead of the X in this equation, we're going to put a 12 in its place. So C of 12 means 27,000 minus 2,000 times 12. And I know when I plug this in the calculator, I'm going to get 12 times 2 is 24. So this is 24,000 then. So 27,000 minus 24,000 would be 3,000. Okay? So that means that he has 3,000 more that he needs to earn after the 12 months. So that's basically what you would write here. So you would say he still needs to save $3,000 after 12 months. And again, calculate C of 0. All right, so if he hasn't saved anything, basically, you can even say that right away, but C of 0 means plug in a 0. So C of 0 equals 27,000 minus 2,000 times 0. So 2,000 times 0 is 0. So you're saying 27,000 minus 0, which is 27,000. And again, that means that he hasn't saved anything. Okay? So he hasn't saved anything in 0 months, basically. So that's how that works. And then the final one is Lance wants to buy a puppy. He writes a function to estimate the cost of owning one. That's interesting. The function below describes the cost of owning a medium-sized dog for X months. So maybe, like if you look at this function, this is the cost of owning each month. Well, I should say cost of owning after so many months. So if this is the cost next to X, if it's next to the X, that means per month. So $50 per month, basically, is what I guess he's paying for, maybe for food and other things like that. That's really the cost of just one bag of my dog's food. But anyway, I'd say it's more than that for my dog. But and then initially, maybe he had to pay for like a crate and a bunch of other things, plus maybe he had to pay for the dog itself. So that's where the $1,000 comes in. And you usually do spend a lot of money initially. So, but it says here, this only includes the price of buying the dog and dog food, but again, my dog food alone is $50 for just the bag, and then I have to give her wet food as well. So, but anyway. So now, we're going to calculate D of 6. So owning a dog for 6 months is what we're calculating. So D of 6, again, you're going to plug in a 6 into your equation. So that's 50 times 6 plus 1,000. So 5 times 6 is 30. So this means that's 300. So 300 plus 1,000. So that means over the course of 6 months, then he has paid $1,300. And so that's what you could write here. So in 6 months, he paid $1,300. So make sure you write that here. And then D of 0, again, plug in a 0. So that's 50 times 0 plus 1,000. 0, basically that would end up being 0 plus 1,000 is just 1,000. So that means, again, write a sentence explaining like what it means in terms of Lance and his dog. Well, basically he started off paying $1,000, and they're saying in 0 months he hasn't really owned the dog. You know, he didn't take it home yet. Maybe initially it's just saying initially he had to pay $1,000 for the dog. So you could say that also. So that's all you have to do for this worksheet. And then tomorrow we're going to look at another thing with functions. And we'll be doing module 2, step 2, and I'll do another video with you, being as I will not be there tomorrow. Let me know if you have any questions.